Hi YouTube, it's Celeste. It's been a long time. I won't get into why. That's another video. I wanted to come on here because I just feel called to make a little series of videos. I'm looking for ways to be of service, and this is what I feel guided to talk about. A lot of you might know that I worked on Keen.com for like 8-9 years as a psychic. I was very good at my job, very committed to giving people the truth of what I saw. I loved being a reader. I was hygienic, you know. I always made sure that my energy was prepared, and like always cut cords between calls, and I always prayed before and after every call. And I had returning clients for many, many years, some of whom are now like, you know, I'm no longer giving them readings, but like, what's up, girlfriend? Like, they're like my besties. So it's something that's near and dear to my heart. But before I was a reader, I was addicted. Oh man. I mean, I had problems. Whether it was calling psychics or getting swindled on a San Francisco street corner by a gypsy selling me a special bath for $200. Like, if there was a scam involving spirituality, I fell for it. I was very vulnerable and very trusting, and I was a believer. I was having psychic experiences myself. I just had no control over my own life. I couldn't like get my shit together. So I would, you know, defer to someone else who knew something. So it put me in the position of really, I have a lot of perspective at this point of someone who is vulnerable. I have a lot of compassion for people that come to me or came to me, since I don't do this very much anymore. I'm more of a healer now. And now I want to give to the community, whether it's YouTube or my clients or anybody who knows someone who might benefit from this. In this video, I'm gonna give you 5 tips to tell if you are addicted to psychics. Number 1, if you can't get a hold of the person that you are reaching out to regularly for a psychic reading, you feel so ungrounded and so unstable, and you have some anxiety, and you just can't make a decision, and you won't feel a sense of positivity or optimism or peace or clarity, you know, or groundedness until you can get that person on the phone. And if that person's unavailable, dagnammit, you're going to call someone else. You know, you're just like, you're on a mission because there is a need to feel better. If that is your relationship to the advice, I hate to say it, you have a psychic addiction. If you are like, like the hit it and quit it type of person seeking advice, and let me elaborate. So if you are someone who, if they do not like what they hear, is like, oh, okay, all right, cool, and hang up, and then you call someone else, and you get a different response, then you're like, cool, you have a problem. And let me explain. So the universe is full of information. I'm not doubting that psychic information is there to get, and that someone might have an affinity to get that information that you don't have. But if you reach out to the universe and you have a question, is he gonna call? And your trusted psychic advisor says, no, and you don't like that, and you decide, I'm going to call someone else, then you do, and that person says yes. Guess what? That's something that you are creating because you didn't like your first answer. You did not trust. So the universe is going to give you something different because you did not accept the first answer, right? So if you continue to do that, you will always get a mixed bag in your answers from the universe because you are vibrating to the energy of insecurity and I don't know, and you know, helplessness, and so you're going to get energy back that is going to reinforce that vibration, if that's the prominent vibration. If you're just like pew 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 with the psychic readings until I get one that I like, and then I like that and it makes me feel kind of good. I don't know why everyone else said no, but I like this resonates. I feel like I resonate with you. And then you're like, ooh, and the next morning you're like, I need to call them again because I mean, I felt good yesterday, but now I'm like, I'm not so sure. Right? Yeah, that means that there is definitely like a lack of strength right in your field to even ground an answer that you want. If you can't ground it and you need to reach out for it again, or you need to call someone else because you didn't like it, then that shows that you have an unhealthy relationship with advice, wisdom, psychic guidance, all of it. If you do have friends, family members, or confidant that you communicate with about this topic, and maybe they've given you some guidance and advice, if you could not approach them with the same frequency or consistency and ask the same questions that you would be asking your psychic friend, you have a problem. If you could not be transparent with the closest person in your life as to really where you are at mentally or emotionally on a topic, then your relationship to that psychic is completely like icky, weird, like it's just really an unclean dynamic. Just the very fact that it's something that you would need to hide, because if you were to be honest with your bestie, like, when do you think he's gonna call? They're like, we just talked about this. I just told you I didn't think he was gonna, and now you're asking me again. Must be Tuesday. They would think you were crazy, so you don't tell them. You reach out to the psychic again, right? So this next one is, painfully obvious, but also it's mixed in with some feelings of like shame and stuff like that. So it is something very delicate. If you could look at how much money you spent that month, that, 6 months or year that you were reaching out to psychics, and if you could look at that money and know that you could have spent that on something that would really be healthy, a vacation, a down payment on a car, Pilates reformer, or something that really was good for you, something that could really perpetuate something healthy in your life and bring about real change for you. But instead it went to a psychic. Like, that's how you know you have a problem. And for those of you who be on YouTube and you're like, whatever, my shit's free. Hey, time is money, is energy. And if you are spending a lot of time, devoting time every single month to readers on YouTube, even if you're just in your car and you just let it, it's like, you could be learning a language. So no, you can't tell me that just because it's free that it's not taking from you, because your attention and your time is valuable. If you have people in your life that have some ability to throw some cards down, and give you some wisdom, and you ask them a lot, and you don't reciprocate, and you feel like they're pulling away, or you feel like, you are basing your desire to be friends with that person in and around what they can give you in the form of psychic guidance or advice, then you have a problem. If you're kind of like low-key friends with someone because they have, some psychic ability, well, then you're using them, and they are going to put up a boundary, and then, you're going to be mad and feel like you don't really get what you want in the relationship, and then you're gone, or you're looking for someone else, or you get upset at your psychic for kind of drawing a boundary, like a drunk person at a bar who doesn't get like, any more alcohol because they're cut off. If people are cutting you off, you're the problem. Sorry. We should base our friendships on values, right? You guys have shared values and outlooks on life, and you can experience joy together. When instead we base our friendships on, this person will let me play my tiny violin around them, or they'll throw out cards all the time anytime I ask, like, that is not a friend. You are not being a friend to that person. So just like do them a favor and leave them the fuck alone, because you're draining them and it's not cool. Leave them alone. And believe me, if one of these is true, there is a problem. It may not be a full-on addiction. It might just be starting. It might just be your relationship with wisdom and guidance and advice. But if any one of these rings true, so I hope these tips were of help to you. Now, please remember that you are psychic. Psychics are not special. It's a birthright that we all have. And there are some people that through circumstances or through, life challenges or opportunities, they've learned to open up to psychic information. But this is something that you can do too. And if you are interested in opening up your psychic faculties, and really learning how to make things like yes or no decisions and answer your own yes or no questions, give readings to yourself without having to go and spend a lot of money on someone else, please click the link below, because I am having some workshops and some retreats on the topic of opening up your third eye.